4 years, Lumnah Acres was building one of the most ambitious homesteading projects on YouTube. Viewers watched as Al and Gina Lumnah took on a challenge that seemed almost impossible, transforming more than 500 acres of undeveloped New Hampshire land into their dream homestead. They were not moving into a finished farm. They were starting with raw land and creating everything from the ground up. But after years of work, many viewers began asking the same question. What really happened to the 500-acre property and the cabin they spent so much time building? The story of the 500 acres began when Al and Gina decided they needed more space to expand their vision. Their original homestead had already shown what they could accomplish, but they wanted a larger piece of land where they could develop a bigger farming operation, raise animals, and create a more self-sufficient lifestyle. When they purchased the property, it was far from the finished homestead people would eventually see. The land was mostly undeveloped, covered with forests, natural areas, and challenging terrain. Before farming could even begin, the family had to focus on the basics, improving access, creating usable areas, building structures, and developing systems that would allow the property to function. One of the biggest challenges of the 500-acre property was its size. Having hundreds of acres sounds like a dream, but it also means hundreds of acres that need constant attention. Roads need maintenance, forests need management, fences need repairs, and every new project requires careful planning. Unlike a small backyard garden or a traditional farm with existing infrastructure, everything had to be created and maintained over time. The cabin became one of the most recognizable parts of this journey. It represented more than just the place to live. It was the center of their vision, a home surrounded by nature and a symbol of the independent lifestyle they were trying to build. But creating a living space on such a large rural property came with its own difficulties, from construction decisions to adapting to life away from traditional conveniences. As the years passed, the 500 acres slowly started becoming a working homestead. The family built barns, developed animal areas, improved the land, and introduced livestock projects, including highland cattle. Their goal was not simply to own a large piece of land, but to create a balanced system where farming, animals, and nature could work together. However, building a property of this scale was never a quick process. Every improvement required time, money, equipment, and patience. The video showed the reality behind large-scale homesteading, the unfinished projects, unexpected problems, and daily work required to maintain such a massive piece of land. This is also where many viewers became confused. After spending years developing the 500-acre property, Al and Gina later purchased a different piece of land, a 150-year-old vacant farm that needed major restoration. Unlike the 500 acres, which was about creating something new from raw land, the historic farm was about bringing an old property back to life. The change made some people wonder if Lumnah Acres had moved on from their original dream, or if they were planning to sell the 500-acre property. However, there has been no confirmed announcement from Al and Gina that they have sold the land. Instead, the two properties represent different stages of their journey. One focused on building a homestead from nothing, and the other focused on restoring a piece of history. The 500-acre property remains one of the biggest achievements in the Lumnah Acres story. It represents years of hard work, challenges, and the reality of creating a life on your own land. While their journey has continued in a new direction, the lessons and experiences from those 500 acres remain a major part of what made Lumnah Acres unique.